Welcome to Infinite Topics, your go-to hub for cybersecurity and tech insights. Whether you are looking to master SOC analyst training, break into cloud security, refine your threat hunting skills, or ace your next big interview, your cyber career starts right here. We build deep dive technical content designed to take your practical skills to the next level using enterprise tools like Microsoft Defender XDR. If you're ready to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your security knowledge, make sure to subscribe for regular tech deep dives, and don't forget to check out the channel link at youtube.com/@infinitetopics-f
Continue
to join analyst interview questions series with part 3, focusing on Microsoft Defender XDR, incident response, IOC investigation, threat hunting, and device isolation. These are some of the most commonly asked topics in SOC Level 1, SOC Level 2 Blue Team, and cybersecurity analyst interviews. Whether you're preparing for your first SOC role or strengthening your incident response knowledge, this session will help you understand key concepts and real-world security scenarios. Let's get started with our first question. What is an IOC, or indicator of compromise? IOC stands for Indicator of Compromise. It is evidence that suggests a system, device, or network may have been compromised by a cyber threat. Common examples of IOCs include malicious IP addresses, suspicious domains, file hashes, harmful URLs, unauthorized registry changes, and unusual processes running on a device. SOC analysts use these indicators to identify, investigate, and respond to potential security incidents. By analyzing IOCs, security teams can detect threats early, understand attacker activity, and take appropriate actions to protect the organization. Remember, IOCs are critical pieces of information that help SOC analysts detect threats and strengthen an organization's security posture. Question 2. What would you do if a user reports a phishing email? A phishing email can lead to credential theft, malware infections, and serious security breaches. As a SOC analyst, it is important to follow a structured investigation process. First, analyze the email headers to verify the sender, routing path, and authentication details such as SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Next, check the sender's reputation and determine whether the email domain is legitimate or suspicious. Then, verify all URLs and attachments in a secure environment or sandbox to identify any malicious activity. Extract indicators of compromise, such as domains, IP addresses, URLs, and file hashes, and search across the environment to see if other users received the same email. If the email is confirmed as malicious, block the identified indicators, remove the email from affected mailboxes, and document your findings. A quick and accurate response to phishing emails can prevent major security incidents and help protect the organization. SOC Analyst Interview Questions Part 3. Welcome to Infinite Topics. In this video, we'll continue our SOC Analyst Interview Questions series with Part 3, focusing on Microsoft Defender XDR, incident response, IOC investigation, threat hunting, and device isolation. These are some of the most commonly asked topics in SOC Level 1, SOC Level 2 Blue Team, and cybersecurity analyst interviews. Whether you're preparing for your first SOC role or strengthening your incident response knowledge, this session will help you understand key concepts and real-world security scenarios. Let's get started with our first question. What is an IOC, or indicator of compromise? IOC stands for Indicator of Compromise. It is evidence that suggests a system, device, or network may have been compromised by a cyber threat. Common examples of IOCs include malicious IP addresses, suspicious domains, file hashes, harmful URLs, unauthorized registry changes, and unusual processes running on a device. SOC analysts use these indicators to identify, investigate, and respond to potential security incidents. By analyzing IOCs, security teams can detect threats early, understand attacker activity, and take appropriate actions to protect the organization. Remember, IOCs are critical pieces of information that help SOC analysts detect threats and strengthen an organization's security posture. Question 2. What would you do if a user reports a phishing email? A phishing email can lead to credential theft, malware infections, and serious security breaches. As a SOC analyst, it is important to follow a structured investigation process. First, analyze the email headers to verify the sender, routing path, and authentication details such as SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Next, check the sender's reputation and determine whether the email domain is legitimate or suspicious. Then, verify all URLs and attachments in a secure environment or sandbox to identify any malicious activity. Extract indicators of compromise, such as domains, IP addresses, URLs, and file hashes, and search across the environment to see if other users received the same email. If the email is confirmed as malicious, block the identified indicators, remove the email from affected mailboxes, and document your findings. A quick and accurate response to phishing emails can prevent major security incidents and help protect the organization. Question 3. When would you isolate a device in Microsoft Defender? Device isolation is a powerful containment action used to stop a compromised device from communicating with the network while still allowing Microsoft Defender to manage and investigate the system. A device should be isolated when malware execution has been confirmed and there is evidence of malicious activity. Isolation is also recommended when ransomware behavior is detected, such as file encryption, ransom notes, or suspicious mass file modifications. If an attacker is actively interacting with a compromised device or attempting to steal data, immediate isolation can help prevent further damage. Another common scenario is suspicious lateral movement, where a compromised device is being used to move across the network and target additional systems. High-risk alerts involving critical assets may also require device isolation to contain the threat quickly. Remember, isolation helps stop the spread of attacks, protects critical systems, and provides a safe environment for investigation and remediation. Question 4. What is the difference between a true positive and a false positive? Understanding this difference is critical for every SOC analyst because it helps prioritize real threats and reduce unnecessary investigations. A true positive occurs when a security alert is generated and an actual threat exists. For example, if Microsoft Defender detects malware running on a user's device and the malware is confirmed during investigation, that alert is considered a true positive. A false positive occurs when a security alert is generated, but no real threat exists. For instance, a legitimate application may be mistakenly flagged as malicious by a security tool. SOC analysts must carefully validate alerts before escalating incidents. Proper validation improves detection accuracy, reduces alert fatigue, and ensures security teams focus on genuine threats that impact the organization. Remember, not every alert represents a real attack, which is why alert validation is a critical skill in every SOC environment. Question 5. How do you investigate a suspicious process? Investigating suspicious processes is a key responsibility for SOC analysts because attackers often use legitimate tools to execute malicious actions. The first step is to review the device timeline in Microsoft Defender XDR and identify when the process started and what activities occurred before and after execution. Next, verify the process name, file path, and publisher information. Attackers frequently use fake or renamed files to avoid detection. Then, Examine the parent-child process relationship. Understanding which process launched the suspicious executable can reveal attacker techniques and malicious behavior. Review the command line arguments carefully. Encoded PowerShell commands, unusual parameters, or obfuscated scripts are common indicators of compromise. You should also analyze network connections, check whether the process communicated with suspicious IP addresses, and verify the file hash using threat intelligence sources such as VirusTotal. Finally, determine whether the process is malicious or legitimate, and take appropriate actions such as isolating the device, blocking indicators, or initiating incident response procedures. A thorough process investigation helps analysts understand attacker behavior and prevent further compromise. Question 6. What is threat hunting? Threat hunting is a proactive cybersecurity activity where analysts actively search for hidden threats that may have bypassed traditional security controls and have not generated alerts. Unlike incident response, which reacts to detected threats, threat hunting focuses on uncovering unknown or stealthy attacker activity before significant damage occurs. The threat hunting process typically begins with creating a hypothesis based on suspicious behavior, threat intelligence, or emerging attack techniques. Next, analysts collect data from endpoints, networks, cloud environments, and security logs. They then search for indicators of compromise, unusual patterns, or anomalies that may indicate malicious activity. Once suspicious activity is identified, analysts investigate and validate their findings to determine whether the behavior is malicious or benign. If a threat is confirmed, the findings can be converted into detection rules, helping the organization automatically detect similar attacks in the future. Threat hunting reduces attacker dwell time, improves visibility, strengthens security posture, and helps organizations stay ahead of advanced threats. Remember, threat hunting is proactive security, not reactive alert handling. Question 7. What logs do you check during a Windows investigation? Windows logs are one of the most valuable sources of evidence for SOC analysts. They help identify attacker activity, determine the scope of an incident, and support effective incident response. The first log to review is the security log, which records user logins, privilege changes, account activity, and access events. Common event IDs include 4624 for successful logons and 4625 for failed logons. Next is the system log, which contains information about operating system events, driver issues, service starts, and system changes. The application log provides details about application crashes, errors, and software-related events that may indicate suspicious activity. PowerShell logs are especially important because attackers frequently use PowerShell for execution and persistence. Event IDs such as 4104 can reveal script activity and commands executed on the system. Microsoft Defender logs provide alerts, malware detections, and remediation actions, while Sysmin logs offer detailed visibility into process creation, network connections, registry modifications, and file activity. By correlating information from multiple logs and building a timeline of events, SOC analysts can gain a complete picture of what happened during an attack. Once an attacker gains an initial foothold in a network, they rarely stay in one place. Instead, they utilize lateral movement to navigate through the environment, escalate their privileges, and ultimately locate critical assets. To blend in with legitimate administrative traffic, adversaries frequently abuse common networking protocols and native tools. They leverage RDP and SMB for remote access and file sharing, execute commands using utilities like PS Executive and PowerShell remoting, or harvest credentials to perform pass-the-hash authentication across systems. Security analysts can spot these malicious footprints by tracking key detection indicators, such as unusual login activity from uncommon sources, clusters of failed logons, unexpected remote connections, or sudden spikes in privilege escalation attempts. Efficient threat hunting for these movements involves deploying specialized toolsets, including Microsoft Defender XDR, KQL Advanced Hunting, Bloodhound, and Mimikatz, to map and monitor network pathways. To neutralize this threat, security teams must follow strict best practices, continuous monitoring of authentication logs, enforcing least privilege access, implementing robust network segmentation, and actively hunting for anomalies. Ultimately, the key takeaway is that lateral movement is how attackers expand their blast radius to reach your data, crown jewels, making it vital to understand these behaviors before jumping into the structured phases of incident response. Moving on to question 9, what are the phases of incident response? A structured incident response process is critical because it helps organizations prepare for, respond to, and recover from security incidents effectively, thereby minimizing business impact, ensuring a coordinated response, and improving overall security posture. The life cycle begins with Phase 1, preparation, where we establish policies, roles, and tools before an incident occurs, followed by Phase 2, detection, to identify threats through alerts and monitoring, and Phase 3, analysis, to investigate the scope and root cause. Once understood, we mitigate the danger through Phase 4, containment, by isolating affected systems, and Phase 5, eradication, to completely remove the threat from the environment. The final stages focus on the future, with Phase 6, recovery, restoring systems to normal operations, and Phase 7, lessons learned, reviewing the incident to improve defenses. By combining this workflow with powerful tools like Microsoft Defender XDR, Microsoft Sentinel, and PowerShell, and adhering to best practices such as regular planned testing and thorough documentation, organizations can ensure they recover quickly and securely, setting the stage for question 10 on how to prioritize these incoming alerts. Moving on to question 10, how do you prioritize alerts? Prioritizing alerts is essential because it helps SOC analysts focus on the most critical threats that pose the highest risk to the organization. To do this effectively, we look at several alert prioritization factors: the basic severity of the alert, its potential business impact, whether it affects a critical asset, the confidence level of the detection, threat intelligence data, and whether there is active exploitation taking place. Mathematically, tools like Microsoft Defender XDR calculate an overall alert risk scoring by factoring in severity, business impact, asset criticality, threat intel, and confidence to generate a concrete risk score, as seen with our top alert sitting at a high score of 95. Looking at our priority matrix, high priority threats include ransomware activity, domain controller attacks, and active malware execution, while medium priority threats cover suspicious logins, unusual network traffic, or policy violations, leaving informational alerts and expected activity as low priority. In a real-world dashboard like the one shown here with over 500 active alerts, managing this volume requires advanced tools like Microsoft Sentinel, advanced hunting via KQL, and Power BI dashboards. By adhering to best practices, such as triaging alerts continuously, focusing on high-risk items first, reducing noise with tuning, and using automation, analysts can always ensure they focus first on threats that create the highest business risk, setting us up perfectly for our next phase. The final summary. To wrap things up, let's review our SOC interview questions part 3 summary, where we have covered a massive amount of essential ground for any aspiring or current security analyst. as highlighted in **image _159b00.jpg***, we deep dived into critical operational areas including IOC investigation, phishing email analysis, device isolation, and how to accurately distinguish a true positive from a false positive. We also explored advanced technical concepts like process investigation, threat hunting, analyzing Windows logs, detecting lateral movement, and mastering the core frameworks of incident response and alert prioritization. When we apply these concepts to a real-world enterprise platform like Microsoft Defender XDR, as shown in our Operations Center dashboard, these skills translate directly to managing live enterprise metrics, whether you are tracking a surge in total alerts, handling incidents, assessing devices at risk, or monitoring top organizational threats like ransomware and phishing. By mastering these topics, you have gained vital, hands-on skills in Microsoft Defender XDR, incident response, threat hunting, IOC analysis, and deep security investigations. With this comprehensive knowledge under your belt, you are officially ready for technical SOC analyst interviews and fully equipped for blue team operations to defend, detect, and respond to modern cyber threats. Thank you so much for watching, and welcome to Infinite Topics. If you found this breakdown valuable, please make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your peers, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss our upcoming cybersecurity deep dives.